Morning, everybody. I'm Mark.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
Has anything big been happening in your life recently?
Well, it's funny you should say that, mate, because our second child, my first son, came into the world yesterday.
Yesterday, mate.
Yeah,
And
yesterday.
here you are now, recording the Alpha 20 video.
That just shows my dedication to the cause.
Yeah.
However, yesterday I was up for, I don't know, 36, 40 hours or something.
Yeah.
I've had about 8 last night, but I feel quite dazed and confused. So if I just start talking random nonsense,
Well,
I hope
we probably wouldn't even notice, mate, to be
audience won't
honest.
tell the
Oh,
difference, will
wow,
they?
shit. I mean, sorry, your wife must really love you then. It's like, oh yeah, that baby's born, right, bye. I'm going to go and record the Alpha video now.
She doesn't know me.
Seriously?
Yeah, she's upstairs sleeping, and I've crept out. That's why I'm a little bit hoarse.
Yeah. So that's actually, that's not that we're keeping score or anything, but that's now 2 children per director, isn't it? We've got 8 children between us now.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
And by my reckoning, 5 of them have been born in Prison Architect's life.
You've been keeping score.
Yeah, 5 of our children have been born during the development phase of Prison Architect. That's how long it's taken, right? Entire families have sprung into existence while we've been programming this game.
Wow, you are so slow, man.
All right, should we look at some new features then?
Yeah, let's look at some new features.
All right then, I'm going to load a prison.
So, I mean, we shouldn't be talking just about our personal lives because no one's interested in that. But you should be sort of relaxed and enthused because you've just come back from another holiday, haven't you?
I have just come back from another holiday, but, like I said earlier, I have 2 children, so holidays aren't quite what they were, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Because it has been literally weeks since your last holiday, hasn't it?
Fuck you, man.
You. I mean, you'd done like 3 weeks' work.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I'm exhausted, man.
You needed to go
You
and have
come here
another.
saying, I've had a baby, I'm tired.
You're like, how has success changed you, Crystal A for Introversion? Success hasn't changed me, man. I always did 3 on, 1 off.
All right, shut up then. Let me show you some new
Yeah.
features.
Let's see.
All right, so Alpha 20 then, quite a big number, Alpha 20. I wanted
Yes.
to do something big. I wanted to tackle the end game, or at least take a big bite out of it.
Yeah,
For me, the
brilliant.
end game is all about scoring and grading your prison and figuring out how well you've done, right?
Yeah.
And I originally approached it with the idea of victory conditions, but it didn't really make any sense that you could really win at Prison Architect, Yeah. So I went with the idea of how do you grade a prison, right? Well, there's various metrics for how to grade a prison, but surely we can agree that one of the most important of all is the reoffending rate of your prisoners.
I think so.
Because, in theory, the reoffending rate should be the thing that you're trying to optimize down, right? I mean, there are different theories to how to tackle the reoffending rate. Some people believe that very strong punishments of your prisoners will act as a massive deterrent for them to commit further crime.
Yep.
That's one opinion. And a deterrent to other people on the outside world not to commit crime, because, oh no, I'll end up in jail. Some people think that training your prisoners and educating them and giving them sort of good skill sets
Chance. Yeah.
will help them find employment when they leave, and that will actually help reduce their reoffending rate too.
Yep.
And I think that the conclusion that I've come to is that all of these things are true. These are all different ways of coping with the reoffending rate.
I like that about you, mate. Decisive. There's no sitting on the fence, is there?
Well, I don't think we should, because if we come rolling in and say, punishment is the way to solve the prison problem, that's just silly. So, all prisoners now are graded within your prison continuously.
Right.
What I mean by that is your performance as related to that prisoner is graded. Let's
Okay.
pick on a random prisoner. Let's say him. Right, here's his...
I never believe you, mate. I never trust you.
what
When you
about-
say let's pick on a random prisoner,
That
I
was
always
a-
think that you've scripted it, and you're like, let's pick on a random prisoner. This one.
and I press the secret key or something, and
Yeah, that's right.
and my pre-programmed guy comes by. Well, let's have a look, shall we? Oh, well, he's only
He's
been...
having the shower.
All right, so he now has a new grading tab. Right,
Oh.
here it is. Now, he's only been in our prison for 5 hours, so his gradings are going to be a little bit shafted because they're based on percentages. Let me
Okay.
see if I can find someone that's been in a little bit longer. 6 days, here we go. So this is what he's been doing in our prison. Right? Now, his grading reflects his experience within the prison. Right?
Okay.
Punishment is graded for him now on a score of 0 to 10. This is how well have you punished this prisoner, as rated by like an external inspector. You know?
Okay.
Somebody would come in and would say, how well has he been punished? And you can see in the tooltip, these are the factors that go towards his score.
Sounds like a really ropey 80s movie title. The Punishment Inspector.
Punishment Inspector.
Starring Dolph Lundgren. Punish him!
He needs more punishment.
Right.
Open the pain amplifier. I think we're both a bit tired today, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll give you a free upgrade to the next tier if you tweet me and tell me what movie that's from. You'll never get it.
That's obscure. That's obscure, that. All right, so you can see then, punishment then. He's been awarded points because he has served 14 years in jail, right? That's quite severe punishment.
Yeah.
A baseline, serving a long time in jail will get you a lot of punishment points.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Whilst he's within jail, 10% of his time he's been locked up in his cell.
Okay.
You can see it in his activity log, right? It means lockdown. In other words, he's been shackled, he's been locked in solitary confinement. That counts towards it. But he spent 32% of his time under free time. In the regime now, free time, in other words, do what you want, counts against your perceived punishment score for this prisoner. It's like, how dare you let this murderer...
Time. Oh, hang on, little one's come in.
Daddy,
Yes, dear.
can you have my beauty six, please?
Yes, I'll go and get them in a minute. Daddy's just making a video, okay? Okay, it's very important. Millions of people are listening to us right now. Okay. All right. I'll come and talk. I'll come play with you in a minute, okay? Hello, mate. You there?
Hello, mate.
Children. What are they good for? Absolutely nothing. That's a bit mean, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got to say, mate, your one-day-old is speaking really well.
Yeah. A bit of a family voice.
Sounds like a girl as well.
Yeah.
So I also mentioned that reform is the other primary metric by which you can consider the reoffending rate of a prisoner to be being changed.
Yeah.
Reform we know about. Reform is all from Alpha 18's reform programs.
Yeah.
All right. So passing reform programs counts for a lot. Just being in reform programs actually counts for something. So this guy gets a 2 out of 10, which is rubbish, but non-zero, because he's been in some reform programs.
Okay.
If we somehow find a guy who's actually managed to pass a reform program, we'll find that they've been awarded points for that. And the level of the reform program counts towards it too.
Yeah. Okay.
It's amazing how you just can't find people with the necessary stats when you go looking.
Yeah.
So if you, for example, passing like the kitchen safety one or the workshop safety one doesn't really count for very much,
Yeah.
because they're so
basic.
They just don't count for much. But the later ones, like the carpentry and things like that, and the education classes count for a lot. So both of those factors, punishment and reform, count towards your estimated reoffending chance. Now, again, this is being put together by an external inspector, effectively.
Yeah.
And he's saying, based on this guy's experience in your prison, I think that, and various other factors, this is going to be his reoffending chance.
Did you see that article I sent you about that?
Tell me.
I read it in the either The Economist or New Scientist, but there's a computer program now live in the States, which calculates your reoffending rate.
Yeah.
Based on a number of factors.
Yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it?
It's supposed to be that the idea is that they want to try and move away from kind of gut feel on parole to a more evidence-based metric.
Because human beings are profoundly judgmental and racist and everything.
They can have biases, but and also computer programs are excellent at predicting human behaviour, aren't they? So,
they look at their Facebook page or something and figure out how many times they
it does
hashtag armed robbery or something.
It does what you're doing.
Yeah,
right?
it does exactly this. It munges together some numbers that have been
randomly
calculated on some arbitrary scale and then produces another arbitrary number.
But it's just it's I just thought it was very interesting that the real world is it's not as ridiculous as you think. To be calculating a reoffending rate.
Well, this calculation has to happen because when we eventually deal with parole, you're going to have to make a decision, right? So you have to make some sort of gut estimate. So the other factors so punishment and reform are kind of like two sides of like how your prison might run. So you could create a prison now that was full on punishment and no reform, armed guards everywhere, lockdown, everything, and get a really high punishment score. Or you could go the other way, and you can see what effect that has. Now the other two ratings, security and health, these are sort of secondary ratings. The security rating represents how well you've kept this dangerous person locked away.
Very important function of prisons as well, I think.
Yeah, and also how well you've kept him under control. You know, if
Yeah.
he's involved in loads of fights and murders people in your jail and stuff, then that counts against your security rating. If he escapes, if he escapes, you get nothing for security, funnily enough. But if he tries to escape even and gets close, that counts against. And his health rating is a grading of how healthy he's been in your prison.
Yeah, okay.
So maxing out on your food production and feeding him well and keeping him exercised counts towards that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see these are slightly different. These start at 0, like the 0 is in the middle. And so all of that's combined together. There are other factors in their reoffending chance as well. The age of the prisoner. So this guy is 42. Doesn't have a lot of effect, but sometimes you find guys who are sort of 65.
Yeah, you're getting all time.
This guy's 19. Okay, so interesting. So what else is against him? Only one crime. Yeah, you get different factors going on. So younger guys tend to find it a lot easier to commit lots more crime.
Right.
The number of prior convictions as well is a very strong indicator.
Yeah,
This guy's got lots of previous crimes, very serious long-term criminal. So, it's kind of 50-50 that he's going to reoffend. These numbers can go up to kind of 80 or 90% if you get people who are just basically psychos.
It's kind of the bottom line, isn't it, the reoffending.
Yeah. So, how does this affect your jail overall? Well, once you've considered that each prisoner is being graded on these 4 metrics and has an estimated reoffending chance, you can imagine that you could combine all of these 4 gradings for all of your released prisoners.
You could imagine that.
So when a prisoner is released, their score is added to an amalgamated average of all of these. And that would look something like this.
Oh, that looks good.
Here's your prison grading screen. Right?
Yes.
So here we have, again, the same gradings: punishment, reform, security, and health. So we've had 148 prisoners released from this jail.
Right.
So we've had a lot of history. So this is only people that have been released.
Yeah.
And it tells us how we're doing. So this is kind of a score, but also kind of a mark of what type of prison you've made.
Yeah.
And these numbers are hard to move. It's difficult. You have to really commit to reform to make this move up even a few points.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the amalgamated reoffending rate of all your prisoners that have left your prison. About 1 in 3. Right? Now, this has been a major objective for Prison Architect for a long time.
Yeah.
Some kind of grading for the reoffending rate of your prison. Did you know some prisons in the world have reoffending rates as high as 70%?
Wow.
Like, ridiculously high. And to some extent, it's because they get sent all the worst prisoners.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's just nothing they can do for them except lock them up for a long time.
Right.
But this is a number that you can attempt to adjust through these metrics. And on the right we have, a series of other gradings for your prison as well.
Yeah.
These don't really count it's because this is a grading screen, and the value of your prison and the profits and things are important values in how well you're doing.
They're slightly different, aren't they? They're orthogonal to the others.
They are orthogonal because you are running a prison business, and so you do want to be getting these up. All right. So there's our prison grading.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah,
really
that's a pretty major feature, I think.
Yeah.
There's another side to grading your prison, which is the concept of failure.
Yes.
Now, previously, you couldn't really fail at Prison Architect. You could let everyone die, you could let everyone escape, you could go bankrupt, and the game didn't really end. It was just kind of silly. Well, no more. Now there are failure conditions, and you can be sacked, and it can be game over if you trigger these failure conditions. And the way they work is, we've brought the advisors in. You remember the advisors from the tutorial chapter? They now have a use. Right. So if you, I'll demonstrate on a different prison. Let's demonstrate on this one.
Gaming based on sympathy.
So here we have a prison where the Riot is heavily in swing.
Right.
Let's get that over there. You can see that we have all kinds of terrible things happening. We may have seen this level once or twice before.
I can remember this level. I remember broomsticks.
You can see that we're now being notified when there's been a death in this little pop-up on the right of the screen. And so it kind of counts how many deaths you've had today. And if that number goes too high, you're kind of screwed. But what I wanted to show specifically in this case is a riot that runs out of control, right?
Okay.
Let's say you have a riot that's been running for 12 hours, right? At that point, you are failing to control this riot.
Yeah.
And what will happen is, this will happen. I need to make sure I press the right keys here.
That's very dramatic.
Yeah. Ah.
Right. Oh dear.
The CEO is phoning.
That's not so cool.
It's never good news when the CEO phones,
The
is
boss
it?
man wants to work.
Your prison is out of control. Put down this riot now, or the government will step in and retake the prison by force. Right? That's your warning. Right?
Okay.
And at this point, we have, what is it? We have an 11-hour
Hey,
warning timer. Right? If you do not put this riot down within 10 hours and 50 minutes, it will be game over, and you'll not be able to return to this level because you have failed.
So get focused. Put down your cup of tea.
Yeah. So you can no longer have riots that run forever.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's say, what happens if you do fail to put down the riot
I
within
was about to ask that very
10
question.
and a half hours? Well, no.
Game over, man.
Then
Game over.
Then I need to press a different key combination, which is this. Right. Failure, uncontrolled riot. You have failed to control this riot. The government has revoked our prison contract and is now sending in the National Guard
Sending in the National Guard.
to retake the
Brilliant.
prison.
Brilliant.
Where are the National
Where
Guard?
are the National Guard?
Here they come.
Here they come.
Here comes the National Guard.
Why have they got stars on there? They're Russian, man.
Those are the generals,
What are you
honestly.
doing now? You've put Russians going in to take the prisons.
The Russians have decided to annex this prison.
Oh,
I didn't say that.
Russians are annexing your prison. It's not set anywhere. The prison's not set anywhere.
No,
These
it's not set in any
independent
country.
troops.
No. So what happens with these guys then? Well, these are pretty
Brilliant.
badass. So I should warn you, this is not nice. I mean, this is.
Is this gratuitous violence?
I haven't done surrendering yet, and I really need to do surrendering because really prisoners would be surrendering at this point.
Right.
But we'll let it happen. We'll go with it. We'll see.
Well, although in some ways, when they do send in the National Guard or whichever force it is, you do get a lot of people dead, don't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. This does happen. I mean, Alcatraz famously
happened.
had a full-on riot that was out of control, and the US Marines were dropped in to retake the place by force. And as you can expect, it's one of the things you can see when you tour Alcatraz is grenade blasts and bullet holes in the walls and stuff. And obviously, they're not police. They don't play nice.
They've got a different rule set, haven't they?
They've got a different rule set, exactly. So these guys. So just to make it clear, these are not under my control, right?
Right. Yeah.
All the game controls have gone. I can't do anything anymore. It's game over, all right? But I didn't want it to just be like it's game over,
Yeah.
I wanted there to be an ending that you can see. So it's kind of terrible because all the work you've done has been destroyed now.
Yeah.
Right?
You should leave the death counter.
Yeah, I should leave the death count. That's a good idea, actually.
Write that in your notebook.
All right, I'll make a note of that, mate, on my secret typewriter.
Yeah.
Right. So they will just retake the prison. They'll just move around the prison gradually, retaking every part of the prison that is not under your control, making a right mess of the place. And
you can just watch this sort of unfold.
You can watch it unfold and be sad that you have failed so spectacularly that this has happened. And I kind of wanted this relates to me to a really wonderful Dwarf Fortress experience that I had. That Dwarf Fortress has always been one of the big influences.
Yeah.
I had this game where I played for probably 20 hours or so, and I saw off many, many enemy armies that came to see my Dwarf Fortress. I destroyed them until one time an enemy army attacked me that was so big that it just decimated everything. But I'd invested like 20 hours of play into building my Dwarf Fortress.
Wow.
But it was destroyed. It was destroyed in just a few minutes. And it was kind of really bittersweet,
Yeah.
It's like, this is a wonderful game over experience, and it adds meaning to the whole thing, that there is a genuine consequence. But at the same time, it's awful,
Yeah. Yeah.
All the work you've done, some people have put, hundreds of hours into their prisons.
Yeah.
So don't let riots get out of control.
Yeah, that is the message. It's one of the takeaways from this presentation. Look at them.
Yeah, I think they've just about done it. So that's that. That was
Lovely.
That was
That's
pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I need to put some surrendering in. Once I put surrendering in, it will make more sense.
I don't know. It's a game over condition, isn't it?
Yeah. What other failure conditions might there be?
You might run out of money.
You could run out of money. That's a good one. If you run out of money, if you're bankrupt, you get a similar warning. It says, if you have negative
Get
cash...
the National Guard come in and kill everyone. You run out of money. You can't do that, mate.
That would be extreme. No, you're just sacked if you're bankrupt. In other words, if you have a negative bank balance and a negative cash flow, you get a 24-hour warning, and then you get sacked
Solvent.
at the end. If you don't have a riot, but you have too many deaths, right, or too many escapes, this is an alternative. Like if too many prisoners escape, it doesn't just immediately game over. Like if 20 prisoners escape in one day, you get a warning message, right? And so the consistent theme is that you always get a warning saying yesterday was a disaster. Make sure it doesn't happen again. And if you have another 20 escapes the next day, then it's a game over scenario.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've got one other special case to show you. All right. So if you have, let's say you have 20 deaths occur.
Okay.
Within your prison, you get this warning. You get the CEO wants. Oh Jesus! Stop doing that. Here we go. Yesterday was a very dark chapter in the history of this prison. Far too many people lost their lives here. Right. Now I should point out this can happen after you've put down a riot. Right.
Yeah.
Let's say you avert if you avert the riot condition, that's fine. But it's still going to pop up and say, the number of deaths in this riot was outrageous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So. Make sure nobody else dies today, or you will face prosecution for criminal negligence. Right.
I shouldn't know. It's just the way. Make sure nobody dies. Nobody die. All right.
Yeah, that's
nobody
your aim.
Die.
Right. That doesn't seem too bad, does it? Just don't let the number of deaths get too high. So again, you've got a 12-hour counter. Right. So what this means is by midnight tonight, you need to make it to midnight tonight without anybody.
What about like natural wastage? Does that count against you?
Death
if you've got some
old
timer,
age. You mean? Well, we don't have death. We don't have death due to old age at the moment, so no.
That might be a bug, mate. We'll have to make sure that we've got CPR lasting for a maximum of 24 hours.
So you can roll their deaths into the next day's report.
Yep, right.
It's like accounting.
Change your accounting procedures.
Yeah. So, you face prosecution if too many more deaths occur today. What does that look like? Let's have a look, shall we? You get this. Failure, criminal negligence.
Yeah, okay.
Don't say we didn't warn you. You have been found guilty of criminal negligence because of recent events. You will now spend the next 10 years in jail as punishment for your crime. Your own jail.
Your own jail?
Good luck. There's me.
No, wait, there you are.
There's me. Right, you see I'm controlling what direction I'm facing.
You're controlling yourself.
All right, so here's me, Christoph.
You've got a little bow tie on.
Yeah, well, that's Ryan Sumo for you, isn't it? If you remember, Ryan Sumo gave us little dicky bow ties, didn't he? For some reason. All right, now.
That's great.
So there's my bio, right? Christoph abandoned delay. And I see my age is down as 25, which is obviously accurate.
Yeah.
So what on earth is going on here then? It's like, well, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, now we can. All right, so we've been let out the truck. So I'm shackled, so I can't.
Are you WASD-ing your way around?
WASD-ing, so I no longer have free camera control.
Brilliant.
All right, so
you're going to get shanked.
Yeah, I'm going to get shanked if I'm not careful, or worse. I mean,
do they know who you are?
They don't know who I am. No.
Okay.
So all the game controls are gone, so I can't build anything anymore. And now this heathen guard is escorting me to my cell. I have no idea where my cell is actually.
Now you're regretting the use of those tasers, aren't you?
Yeah, so all the security systems that you put in place in your jail now run on automatic. You can see we've got some. These guards have got stab vests on. That's why they've got slightly different graphics.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's a new stab vest graphics because previously, if you remember, you mocked us for not having any stab vest graphics yet.
Right. Now we've got them.
Oh, so we seem to be on top of another prison. So at this point, I actually don't know where we're going. Right? I mean, he's taken us to our cell. You might notice that the fog of war is working differently now. You see how we can only see.
Yeah, look at that.
We can only see what we can see. Right?
Yeah. You've got line of sight.
We've got line of sight, so we have no idea. Oh, here we go. Here's our cell. Right,
okay.
There we go. We've been dropped off. So now I can roam freely, and this is my cell. And if I wait here for long enough, I'll lose all visibility of the surrounding area.
Okay.
Now it's work regime, so I can wander around and start exploring my prison, like this. Now this is
just got to hope that you're going to be picked for like a work program or something.
Yeah, you do. You have to hope that there's something you can volunteer for. You can't open doors, right? You've got to wait. So I'm going to wait here for some guard to come along and open this door for me, right? Just like every other prisoner.
Yeah.
Now I've got to put another sting in the tail here, which is that you have a random item of contraband on your person, and you don't know what it actually is.
The warden's gone bad.
You don't know what it is. So I know it's not metal because I've walked through these metal detectors several times and they haven't gone off. But you need to be careful when you walk through metal detectors and stuff because you'll end up spending time in solitary.
Brilliant.
So if you step out of your cell when it's nighttime or something, you'll just get thrown straight back in. We can try and escape, actually, should we give it a try?
Yeah.
I actually don't know this jail very well. This actually isn't one of my prisons, so
it looks fairly well fortified.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's a little bit silly. They will let me out.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
the first few doors. They won't let me out the last door. I have to tailgate it. But it's not that hard. I just have to wait for them to open the door and then run through.
Right. You're free!
Oh, nothing happened.
Oh,
Why did
that
nothing
was a
happen?
great finale. Was something supposed to happen?
Yeah, nothing happened at all. It's because I haven't escaped yet. That's why. There's another gate. All right, I have to wait. We're not on the outside yet. There's still a road gate.
Okay,
So I'm just going to stand here and smoke a cigarette or something.
Yeah, okay. Look at me.
There
Ah!
we go. Oh, shit. Oh. Well, that wasn't very dramatic, was it?
Crashed.
I got tased.
Oh, did you?
That was it, man. That was it. There you go. Epic. Right, so I've been... That's as far as I got. So I'm really regretting putting tasers in the game now.
Yeah.
The stupid reference. All right, so I've been scheduled to 2 hours in solitary confinement for that pathetic escape attempt.
I thought it was quite good. You got outside the main gate.
I did go outside the main gate, but they will, like I said, they don't really do anything intelligent at the moment, so they won't. They'll because they're expecting the AI to not actually ask to be let out at that point. Now this is interesting because this is as far as I've gone. Right, you can't work in the workshop. You don't have an inventory. You can't take a shower. You can't eat or anything. You have a set of needs. I mean, you are a prisoner, but you can't do anything to satisfy them. But we could do more in this mode. It'd be interesting to see what people think of it. Whether people are actually interested, because I think it really turns the prison that you've built on its head to actually experience it, in person. So, we've been put in lockdown.
We should put a big spoiler alert up at the start of this video, I think.
Do you think so?
Well, I guess they're always a spoiler.
Yeah.
But this is a particularly big spoiler.
What, that this can happen?
Yeah, because it'd be an awesome thing to just discover in the game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, a lot of people will discover it, I mean, our YouTube videos aren't watched by that many people.
That's true.
There's a lot more players than people that watch our YouTube vid. I can't go anywhere now. It's actually really quite annoying when you're locked down in your own cell. There's nothing I can do other than wave my arms around. So I should mention the reason why I'm... Oh. Okay. They tased me again for no reason.
It's because it thought you were escaping.
Yeah, that's weird. I must still be tagged as escaping.
You haven't reset the escaping.
Yeah, well, that's pretty harsh, isn't it?
Is this your commentary? Is this one of your liberal commentaries?
What, that you just get beaten up for no reason?
They just
being tased again.
They could be labelled an escaper, so these tasers
They're just on schedule to come and tase you repeatedly.
Keep tasing
I need to go by and tase Chris. So I should mention there's a reason why I'm actually Christoph Abandoned Delay. If you've bought the name in the game, or you've bought the face in the game, either of those two tiers, then you have an ID number in our system.
Brilliant.
Your form ID. And if you put that into your preferences file as your user ID, it knows who you are.
Figure things out.
Yeah, and so it'll put you into your prison if you've got a U. If you don't have a U, it'll just give you a random prisoner, except his name will be hacked to say you. Right, I think they've stopped tasing me now, so I think I can probably get out myself. And that's it. That's Alpha 20, and that's all of our new features.
Yeah, that's really good. Hope you enjoyed the Alpha 20 video. If you've not already bought Prison Architect, you can head over to prison-architect.com, pick it up from us, or you can pick it up from Steam and join in the party. I'm going to go and get some kit. Chris is going to go on another holiday, and we will update you in about a month's time with Alpha 21.